In this fast-paced world of mobile gaming, one tiny bird left an everlasting mark and released in 2013, Flappy Bird seemed simple at first glance, but players soon discovered the true challenge. It was the ultimate test of skill, timing, and patience. Many soared high, but even more flapped straight into frustration. Flappy Bird's fame didn't stop at the game itself. Social media exploded with memes, reaction videos, and players sharing their conquests. But like all great tales, there's a twist. Just as Flappy Bird reached the peak of popularity, its creator, Dong Nguyen, pulled the plug. The game vanished from app stores, leaving players shocked and wondering why. Flappy Bird may be gone, but its spirit lives on in the countless clones and remakes that live today. With my love for the game and my programming background, I took it upon myself to recreate this game in Unity. The first step in creating Flappy Bird is to create the bird and an infinitely scrolling background. So I opened a Photoshop and after a few hours came up with this adorable slime for the player character and this for the background. Who's a cute little slime? That's right, you are. But what's that? There's someone even more cute and adorable? It's you, the viewer. So subscribe and like this video if you're enjoying it so far. Now let's talk about parallax, which is basically where different layers of the background move at different rates depending on the distance from the viewer. This makes our game feel more immersive and dynamic. We then need to implement this in code. So I found the script to attach to each layer of the background and assign a value to see how fast these layers should move. These values can be anything we want, but the layers closer to the viewer should be moving faster to get the depth effect. Behind the scenes, I also added some code to make the background infinite, a camera to follow the player, and some lights to make the game look good. I also added some control for our slime using this speed variable and a simple function for movement. Creating an intuitive and responsive player controller is the key to providing players with an enjoyable gaming experience. It's time to add gravity and introduce physics to our character. By adding gravity, we can create realistic jumps and falls that enhance the overall gameplay experience, which can be done using these two functions. With the core game mechanics in place, let's focus on some advanced techniques to elevate our player controller. Variable jump height allows the players to extend or shorten the length of the jump, and this can be done by adding a timer to control how long the maximum jump should last, and an additional check to see if the character is already in the middle of a jump. A dash attack is a quick and effective way to let the players get out of sticky situations. This was implemented by increasing the speed for a short duration and by defying gravity whilst in the middle of dash. With the right animations, we can evoke emotions, making our players feel more connected to the game world. So I added those along with some particle effects and after images while dashing. The final thing we need is to actually spawn the obstacles for the player to avoid, like the dreaded pipes in Flappy Bird. So after spending countless days learning shader graph to get the lava texture just right, I created these meteors. All that is left to do now is to start dropping these meteors onto the screen. I added logic to have the meteors fall in the direction of the slime as it moves forward. But to keep things nice and easy, this is only done when the meteor first spawns. One thing to keep in mind if the gameplay isn't smooth and optimized. Creating the most intuitive game mechanics along with the most amazing graphics will amount to nothing. This is a good time to introduce object pooling, which is basically just a fancy term given to reusing the same objects as and when needed instead of creating new ones or destroying old ones. In our case, the meteors. Unity gives us a quick way to implement this using the inbuilt object pool class. I'll spare you a detailed account of this, but everything is now working as it should. The slime can freely jump around the screen and dash whenever it pleases. The meteors behave the way we want, and the player dies whenever there is a collision between the two. Now that the main game mechanics have been taken care of, we can focus on things like UI and other online features such as logging in, daily rewards, and leaderboards. I also added a virtual shop where players can buy new slimes using virtual currencies. One final touch was to add post-processing effects to give some extra polish to the game. Even though I've published this game on the Play Store, link in the description by the way. There are still issues and bugs that still need fixing, so I urge you to download it and let me know your findings. But I had a lot of fun working on this project, so thanks to anyone who's made it this far in the video. And if you want an even more detailed step-by-step instructions on how I made this game, check out my tutorial series on how to recreate this game, and maybe if you're into chess, you might want to learn how to make chess from scratch. So check that out too.